No. Dylan, check out this footage. This is easily my favorite MLB footage of all time.
Braves on top 5-1 going to the bottom of the ninth inning. And with a 4-run lead, despite having pitched last night an extended 2 2/3 innings, the Atlanta Braves can smell it. And when you can smell it, you go to your bullpen and you bring in Mark Wohlers. And so here he is. And Bobby Cox was talking before the game with us about, and Jim, you better than anybody can tell the folks, are you stiffer the next night or the night after for a relief pitcher after you have the type of outing he had last night?
I think Bobby was generalizing, but he said normally people tell him it's the second day. Only 41 pitches, but with the intentional work of about 34 pitches last night in those 2 2/3 innings. And again, if you're Bobby Cox and you're Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, you have to rely that this young man at 25 is going to tell you the truth. He can pitch, and he says yes. With his kind of stuff, get him out there.
Manny Ramirez to lead off, bottom of the ninth inning.
And if you're the Indians, you need base runners. You'll take them any way you can get them.
One and oh.
Plus, you may be thinking, well, why is Wohlers in a game like this 4 runs down? Well, when it was 3 runs down, it was a save situation. He got ready, and then Lopez got the double, so while he's ready, bring him in. That's Bobby Cox's thinking, and you certainly can't fault it.
Fouled away in the count, 1-1. You're down by 4. You need base runners. I mean, do you not take a strike?
Absolutely, but that has vanished in the game. You know, the players are bigger, stronger today. They're better players potentially, but that doesn't translate into the game being played as well. And that's unfortunate.
Strike 2. But if you're the manager, just give them the take sign.
Well, guys are less apt to take the take sign nowadays. It's the tail wagging the dog on a lot of clubs.
Then you fine them.
I mean, Mike Hargrove, he was had one of the best and most disciplined strike zone of any guy I ever pitched to. He would have been taking on his own. But then again, he knew how to play the game. It makes a difference. If you spent 4 or 5 years coming through the minor leagues, you just know in that situation, I don't even worry about me getting a hit. I worry about getting on base somewhere. And sometimes that means taking a pitch.
And it was interesting that the 1-0 pitch was a high fastball out of the strike zone.
And it would have been 2-0.
Yep.
Two is hit in the air to deep left center field. And that one is in the bleachers. No more magical endings in baseball anywhere more than Jacobs Field this year. Seemingly night after night this summer. And Ramirez makes it 5-2.
That's about the time it took for him to get down to first base.
So a 3-run lead, and Sorrento batting for Perry takes a strike. Thome on deck. That home run by Ramirez was his 3rd of postseason and has accounted for every RBI he has. 3 solo home runs.
Yeah, the second game against Seattle, he had 2 of those home runs, and 4 of
until that home run. So he's been struggling.
1-1 to Sorrento. Missing away. 2-1.
Well, you know, maybe that home run will tell Mark Wohlers, I just can't stay in the middle of the plate. Normally, when he throws that speed with great movement, he just can throw it right by you.
And swing. Fooled him. 2-2.
Fooled him not with the pitch, but the location of the pitch. Low and away out of the strike zone. Paul went too far. You don't have too long to decide, I'll tell you.
Oh, no. Line drive, base hit into left center, and maybe more as it rolls to the wall. And Sorrento is in at second with a double.
What a huge run driven in by Lopez in the top of the ninth inning. Otherwise, the Indians have the tying run up in the person of Jim Thome. Belliard jumping for that just out of his reach, and Sorrento with a double. Bobby wanted to jump with Rafi.
The Indians this season won 9 games in which the team trailed going into the ninth inning, and Pedro Borbon comes in from the bullpen. So the Indians with a lot of late inning magic this year, and now Wohlers, after that extended outing last night, is asked to pitch an inning tonight and can't face a third batter as he gives up a home run and a double, and out he comes. And now Pedro Borbon, the son of the former Reds pitcher in the 70s who pitched in a World Series, comes in here.
Jim, I've got to believe Bobby Cox is saying if Manny Ramirez can get around on a Wohlers fastball and Sorrento can hit a ball that hard, then I've got to believe that Wohlers just doesn't have it, and that's it.
Okay, and I think he's got a lot of guts to make this move.
I do too.
And again, if you're a manager or if you're a pitcher, the hitters tell you something's not working, and that was rather obvious tonight. Again, you know, the velocity looked like it was up there, Timmy, but no movement. Obviously, a lot of line drives, and if you're Bobby Cox, I tell you what, because you bring in Borbon, you still have Klantz to back him up.
Such a strange game. You go to Wohlers to close him out. He can't do it. So now you have to go backwards in a way.
Right.
You bring in Borbon. Borbon has pitched one time in postseason, October 6th. So he hasn't pitched in 2 weeks, and he faced 4 batters that night at Atlanta against Colorado. And Thome will come up to hit, lefty against lefty.
And this is no sure thing, lefty versus lefty. Last year, Thome, you look at his numbers here in the World Series, but this year he hit 275 against left-handed pitching. Last year it was about 170.
And Alejandro Pena, the loser last night, and Klantz in the bullpen.
Yes, so that would mean that Borbon is there to pitch the one hitter, and that's Thome.
Borbon pitching for the first time in 19 days. Alomar on deck.
Borbon, fastball, slider. Everything's hard.
Throwing a strike's the most difficult for Pedro right now, however.
2-0.
You got to take here. 2 balls, no strikes. The Indians are trailing by 3. 1 runner on. By Mike Hargrove, now I flash the take sign.
Yeah, and Thome, I mean, you know, Thome hit a lot of home runs, but he also walked 97 times, so he knows the strike zone. You don't care. A 2-run home run doesn't mean anything here. It puts you still 1 run down.
Right.
2-1.
Well, he will drop down on you. Had a chance to talk to Pedro yesterday. We'll go back to the Dominican to become a starting pitcher. Said, I want to work on a changeup, but he said, up here in the big leagues, he said, I got to get left-handed hitters out, and my best pitch is a good fastball and a hard slider. He will drop down and give you that look. Different point of release.
Strike 3. Pedro Borbon, for the first time in almost 3 weeks, goes to a mound, falls behind 2-0, and on a 2-2 pitch, that's a beauty.
Sure was. Good mechanics. Shoulder stays tucked, and he lets it go. It's been a very liberal strike zone all night. It's been a big strike zone, maybe an inch or so off the plate.
And the way he works at Thome earned him another batter, because they stay with him to face Alomar, who fouls it back. You would have said, as we did, that it was a case of facing just a left-handed hitter.
But because he looked so good and threw strikes and Lofton is on deck, the left-hander, Bobby Cox, is allowing Borbón to face Alomar.
Remember something you talked about earlier, and Bobby Cox told us early before, Al, was that Pena with a little bit of upper back problem. So Bobby again seeing for his own eyes. This kid has thrown the ball 90 miles per hour and throwing strikes. Take a shot here.
He had very few save opportunities during the regular season and wound up with just 2. That's grounded foul. And here he is trying to save the 4th game of the World Series. 0-2. Just inside. How strange has this baseball season been? Remember the replacement players? Pedro's father, Pedro Sr., in his late 40s, was a replacement player. And here's Junior trying to save Game 4 of the World Series. And he strikes him out. Alomar is gone. 2 down in the 9th inning, and Lofton comes up.
This is the replacement player that Bobby Cox wanted. That's Pedro Borbón replacing his best reliever in a situation where he comes in to strike out Thome and now Sandy Alomar, and restored order for the time being.
Well, you really are seeing why everybody considers this Braves staff the best staff in baseball. It's not just the starters. And this is what baseball is all about, picking up the guy in front of you that may falter.
Thome still barking about called strike 3. Lofton at the plate. Outside, ball 1. If Kenny gets on, that brings the tying run to the plate. Omar Vizquel. 5-2 Braves. 2 out of the 9th. And that's line to right field, and backing up and making the catch is Justice. Lofton smoking it to right field. Wohlers, the first guy out of the dugout. A star is born right there. Pedro Borbón Jr. The pitching coach, Leo Mazzoni, heaves a sigh of relief, and the kid comes out of the pen, pitching for the first time in 19 days. With the crowd in a frenzy, and he stills them in Cleveland.